the Kaiser is dead. Good job, boys.
Fuck yeah.
We did it.
If you got any characters that aren't level 20, guess what? They just made it to level 20. Except I think there was only one character that wasn't actually at level 20 yet.
And he's dead.
And he is no longer with us. Let's pour one out to Trey's first PC death. Terry Brothblood.
Big rip.
Big rip. Went down fighting.
What a man.
Didn't know his family was hiding in Holy Kaiser's torture chamber. But they have since been rescued.
Are they still just like hanging out at the palace, or have they made their way back to their establishment / home?
Yeah, that's up to you, Alaric. Terry's father is wanting to take his son's body with him and down to their abode. However, the city is still quite dangerous at the moment. Between holdout zealots and the any remaining undead left to be cleansed.
Alaric would at least make that known, like, well, you know it's, you know, you're probably safer here, but, you know, at least when things settle, if that's what you want, then you can take the body.
Okay.
He died a hero. Hey, do you actually have that picture of Terry?
Which one?
Just that updated one. You could throw it up in memorial of Terry.
I have... No, I don't have an updated one. I got his token.
Here you go.
We'll have him hanging in the sky, like Hercules. So, Alaric.
Yes.
Aquillonia itself has been pacified. However, news throughout Terva is not good. Immediately after, you don't know the current situation in the south, but the Reich is fucked. Undead from that Elfric has accumulated over these 60 years and countless battles flooded from the dead forest and have just been full zombie apocalypse. Everything north of the Eisenjern, Eisener River and Sudenberg is pretty well fucked. Most castles are still holding out, and the archbishops. However, basically any farmland or anyone who wasn't able to evacuate to a castle is fucked. So currently, every single town is basically experiencing a mini siege as they are beset by the undead hordes and unable to escape. The area around Aquillonia itself is no different. Like, basically, only inside the city has been pacified. Even outside the city walls, it's pure chaos. The guards have managed to lock the city down and shut the gates, as that was also a part of Elfric's machinations, was opening all the gates. But now that he's currently on your side, the the gates of Aquillonia have been secured, but the north is on fire, and that's what you know right now. Because we're still like the night of the Kaiser fight right now.
Okay. Well, so I'll tell you where my headspace is at. At this point, Alaric would definitely want to probably go dragon form and start doing kind of fly arounds and try to, use his breath and everything to try to clear out some of the hordes and take some of the pressure off of all of these main castles. Basically, just help everywhere he can. But since we are hot off the heels of this fight, he cannot do that until at least after a long rest. So for the moment, he can't really do that until he rests. So my thinking is to, however they can, send word as quickly as they can to all of the cities to, basically lock down, Kaiser is dead, hold up until reinforcements can come, I really don't think any of these towns, especially with their armies all in the south, can really do much against these hordes. So Alaric's best advice all around is probably to, hole up and prioritize defending. So I don't know what would be the fastest and best way to send that information to all of the cities, or what magical capabilities. Alaric might have something with the Artificer's shit.
Yeah, that would be on you, because there are no sending stones or any of that stuff in Terva. So Andy and his Elfric and his nightmares can zip you around very easily. But if you just wanted to send out messengers, then you're sending out messengers through zombie-infested lands.
I mean, we could just, if I had some of my Blood Knights relaying the message, but it might not go over well, unless we have, if we had the Blood Knights do it, we could literally relay a message to every city on the continent, probably simultaneously. Or pretty close to it.
That is true. Also, don't forget your Blood Knights can, change their appearance,
That is
appear not terrifying. And they're all, they were capable of disguising themselves all as Grail Knights and all of the nightmares as Pegasi. So, that's also something to keep in mind.
Do you require assistance, my king? It's just Elfric's just standing there right by you, he has his arms behind his back.
Sorry, I'm just checking this.
Gives you a big toothy grin.
Well, I may be able to use your nightmares to send messages to the here in the northern lands. They're the ones that are going to get pummeled the most, and we need to be able to make sure that they can defend themselves for the time being.
Of course, I can do that with your permission. I assume that my Blood Knights could disguise themselves as Grail Knights. It might go back poorly otherwise.
At least disguised as non-vampire knights, yeah.
Non-vampires, please.
Non-vampires? Okay. You're asking for a lot, but we got this. And Elfric's gonna start this little process off as quick as he can. Which should be pretty fucking quick.
Yeah. So the big notes Alaric would want... he would want these knights going in to relay that the Kaiser has been felled by King Alaric, that the undead hordes, you know what, just the undead hordes of Osmodius were just straight up plague these northern lands. Your best hope is to defend your keeps. What, would anyone else weigh in on what best strategically they should be doing, or is that basically it? Just hold up and defend themselves?
They'll probably have to hold up until we kill the devil, because, that's the only way we're going to get control of these hordes.
We must kill Satan.
Indeed.
So,
and it will be a very hard task, but I'm confident it will happen.
they need to hold up and defend themselves until help can actually arrive and do something. And these knights should also be getting a, kind of scouting, doing a little recon and figuring out how each of these cities are doing.
Of course, Your Grace.
Of course, Your Grace.
The least you can do for bringing these hordes to these...
Loyal.
It's the least you can do for bringing these hordes to these lands.
Hey, I wouldn't be doing this if, I had my Necronomicon still. So whose fault is it really?
No, you would have been doing this from the get-go. We just would have been... No. You just would have been in control.
Destroying Aquillonia. Destroying Aquillonia, sure, but that's because Holy Kaiser wanted to kill me. We're bros right now, man. I wouldn't do that to you.
Alright, well, let's focus on saving as many people in this land as we can. That's what we can do right now.
Of course, Your Grace. As
okay.
You wish.
Let's get your actual message you're sending to these dudes. Dear Aquilonians. Can you see me typing in the top right? Not top, but above. Or is it only when I finish?
Yeah, I don't see anything.
I don't see you typing.
Trey, if you just want to type what you're actually going to, have these Blood Knights tell these people in the chat, that would work.
Ugh.
Because, it is kind of important. Because they don't know what the fuck is going on. And then, so, what, are you having them disguised as Grail Knights with Pegasus?
Yes, at least, yeah, just nondescript knights. Yeah, and Pegasus, I'm assuming, because that's the only way they could even explain them coming and going like they are, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair. And think very carefully about what you say, because that will reflect on how all of these archbishops and citizens of the Reich react.
Oof. See, Alaric's trying to be as clear, yeah, the Kaiser isn't who you thought he was, but it also might be coming in too hot.
And you're not exactly showing them the body. All of them are in desperate need of help. Desperate. Even though the zombies and the undead won't be able to break into these castles, because they're all pretty mindless, um, they're all going to starve to death. It might take a while. Like they have enough food for a while, but also like not enough for all the refugees who's fled into these castles and walled cities. Because they only ever have enough to like intend on holding on to the garrison. Like it's never the intention to get a population through a siege. Like they're always hoping to just dump off worthless people, who are just mouths to feed. But when you're surrounded by the undead, getting rid of these mouths to feed means adding more mouths to
The undead.
eating you.
Alright. That's at least part one. Would this northern human kingdoms, what would they themselves refer to themselves? Just the northern kingdoms, or the Reichlands, or is that only because of the Kaiser? What would they call themselves?
Reichlands, yes. The they were known as the Archduchy of Aquillonia before his rise, but typically it's always been known as the Reich as an independent state. And then the Reich just became synonymous with empire as well, but it's more like Reich is more just their name for kingdom because they've never really been an actual empire. And words can mean what we want them to mean. Like so they would equate the word Reich to kingdom.
Gotcha.
So how long has it been since like Kaiser died and Aller like just kind of ran off on his own? Since like how long has it been?
A couple hours. I mean, we're probably like so. Kaiser died. Everybody kind of went off and did their own thing, just kind of coming down from the fight. Well, Kaiser died. You secured the city. That took several hours, and then they went down and found Terry's family, and that was kind of where we were picking up. So it's been, I'd say maybe 2 to 3 hours since clearing the city, securing the city, going back to the Citadel, and finding his family that Aller's been. I'd say where the night is ending, dawn is here.
All right. When a little bit after when dawn hits, Aller's gonna get up. He's gonna take a couple bottles of mead with him. He's gonna start on his way back to the palace, and he's gonna want to talk to Alaric a little bit when he gets there.
Okay, so he's heading back to the
palace. Yeah, after a little bit after dawn, he'll start heading back.
I'm assuming Alaric has probably been
He's not
awake
try and like
all night, just trying to negotiate and figure out everything. But I would want to, at least figure out this stuff with the knights as early as possible in the night. Whenever you came back, I don't know when that would have been.
I'm not really sure either, because it's kind of just he's kind of just wandering his way back. Like, he's not bolting for the castle immediately. He's just kind of walking along and working his way back. Maybe if he sees a couple zombies or something, he smacks them on the head real quick and keeps going. Like, he's not necessarily beelining back to the castle, but
oh shit. So just for shits and giggles, I also had ChatGPT write your letter, and it is not kind.
I figured.
You want to see it?
Sure, what do you have? Not
it is
kind
not
to the Kaiser?
No. Alaric is not. ChatGPT's taking fucking pulling no punches. I've given ChatGPT like a bunch of info about the campaign, so I can give it quick prompts and shit. Like, so all I said was, write a letter from Alaric to the Archbishops of the Reich, telling them of Holy Kaiser's death and his true nature. Tell them the Reich has fallen, but Alaric is here to save them from the undead threat.
Fuck it, I'm just gonna read it aloud.
Yeah.
I write to you today to inform you of the death of your so-called Holy Kaiser. Despite of his grandiose claims of divinity and his incessant manipulation of your people, he was nothing more than a mere mortal, and a corrupt one at that. The reality of his nature has been revealed for all to see. As the conqueror of Aquillonia, I stand before you now to bring you the news that the Holy Iron Reich has fallen. Your leader is gone, and with him the illusion of your false religion. Oh, Jesus. The truth is upon you, and with it comes the reality of the current world crisis. An undead horde threatens to destroy everything in its path, and it is my duty to save humanity from this catastrophic fate. I come to you not as a conqueror, but as its savior. The people of Aquillonia have embraced me as their king, and I will do all that is within my power to protect them. I ask you to open your minds to the truth and join me in this fight against the forces of darkness together. Together we can conquer the undead and bring peace to the land once more. God damn. Sincerely.
So, but it doesn't come with like explicit instructions on what you want them to do, though. And it doesn't actually mention that the undead are controlled by Asmodeus. So it's not perfect.
Real talk, that's kind of a message that needs to be spread everywhere, and I kind of like everything up until I ask you to open your minds to the truth and join me in this fight. I feel like at that point instead of that would be instructions, like, what I need for you is to defend yourselves as thoroughly as you can, help is coming.
Yeah,
I ask
your
you to,
first paragraph.
Yeah, and and at that point it's like I ask you to hold out hope, for help will arrive. This I swear.
But equating in the second paragraph, your leader is gone, and with him the illusion of your false religion. The truth is upon you, and with it the current reality of the current world crisis. Like equating, like learning about the Kaiser and also about the undead, like together. That was like fucking holy shit. We're all going to die to the AI. They're coming.
They're coming. They're going to be writing all our books for us. The only real occupation when it comes to like novel writing in the future will be the editors.
Dude, it's done. It's fucking done. This is the writing on the fucking wall. Haha, pun intended. But
I mean, real talk. That's kind of perfect for tone and everything.
The fanfic world just fucking like died. It's suffering its own fucking like the snap as like. You got the people who will embrace ChatGPT and all the people who won't, refuse to, and they'll all disappear. Yeah, okay. Okay, so your Blood Knights go out for that. Would you also are you going to remain in Aquillonia, or would you take yourself a Blood Knight to go back to the south, or just like send a Blood Knight to just get word or something?
Elfric would convey a message to Rickard himself, but he's not going to do it for anything like less than that, and he's probably not going to hang around. He'll probably leave a Blood Knight to scout there and then come back. But he'll deliver a message to Rickard if Alaric would like him to deliver a message to Rickard specifically.
Yeah. What about you, Alaric? Are you going to stay in Aquillonia? Because there's also, don't forget about another big chess piece you have, and that's Karl Ottermark, the Reich Marshal.
Yeah, because honestly, I would not mind bringing him back north, but like with, kind of somebody else with him. Like if one of these two, like Bailey and her prize, stayed with him as, but as we're trying to figure out what to do, I mean, he would probably be numero uno. I haven't completely decided if he's getting a seat of power here in Aquillonia, but you know what, right now, we're in kind of crisis mode, and Alaric would definitely take his, because he would still prioritize the people of Aquillonia first and foremost, and Alaric would trust that more than anything in his help right now. You know what I mean? To try to, because that's what Alaric wants to do, is he wants to save as many people in Aquillonia as he can. So you know what? Alaric probably will take a Blood Knight. Okay, so can Alaric, it's the horses that are doing this. Can Alaric ask Elfric, can I ask of you to have one of these horses? Personally?
Ooh, a mighty ask.
Well, permanently, no. If you need to borrow one, absolutely, but I would like it back.
Okay.
I'm not just going to give it to you, but you can borrow it, yeah. I have no issue with that.
Well, things are pretty hectic right now. How about, I can give it, I promise I can give it back to you. How about in, a month?
He pinky swears.
Okay, Elfric, snaps his fingers and has a nightmare just appear next to him. And he starts, petting the side of X's neck. This is, Ebony. Take good care of him.
Oh, it's not Bo?
No, it's not Bo. You're not getting Bo back.
Bro, I really thought for a second that was Bo, and it was Ebony.
Oh my god.
I really thought for a second
Elfric doesn't trust it that much. Elfric's no, because he'll find some bullshit and cure Bo, and then we'll have an issue. So no. Bo is Elfric's personal steed at this point. You're not getting access to that.
Well, Alaric still doesn't know that, does he?
No, I don't think so. Unless Elfric point blank told. I think I think Elfric did just point blank say. Yeah,
I think we rolled for it, and then you had him look, and you're like, he has wings and a horn, and he looks different than the other nightmares. And I think Elfric was like, "Yeah, that's Bo."
You bitch.
Bocephus.
You bitch.
Bocephalus.
Hey, he came at me. Okay, he came at me. It was self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
That you ripped his wings off. It turned him into a nightmare.
Well, I had to make sure he wouldn't do it again.
You're a monster.
Now he won't do it again. I mean, are we talking technically or figuratively? Because technically you are correct, sir.
Anyway, before I say something I regret, thanks.
Okay.
I prefer life impaired, personally.
Life impaired.
How much control do I have? Like, I guess I can just look up a nightmare and see what the fuck they do.
Mm-hmm.
Up to
They
3
can
willing
convey fire
creatures.
resistance to the
Ay.
rider.
Within 5 feet, so that means technically, like, they don't have to be riding the nightmare?
That's fascinating. I actually didn't know that.
I mean, I'm assuming within 5 feet normally means you can touch them, but still, that doesn't mean they have to be
Yeah.
riding. I mean, but in our canon, they
Yeah,
have
that's
always
true.
been traveling, though, right? Like, you know,
Mhm.
they've been moving.
I just say at
through.
least just touching the nightmare, I think, is enough.
Yeah.
You know what? Just canonically, what if, like, you just put your hands on them and it's like you are affixed to them permanently with, like, glue, but, like, you still get trailed? Like, so you're just, like, hanging onto this horse, like, you have no threat or anything of falling off, but you're just being dragged through space and time. That's hilarious. Okay. So nothing specifically. Okay, so any disguising is on the part of the Blood Knights, not on the nightmares themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's the
you
Blood Knight doing it.
you will just be appearing on a fiery undead horse.
Alright,
Unless you can make it look differently.
I have an idea on that. Can I get some of that facial armor over the face of the horse? So I just pulled up the picture of it on D&D Beyond as my reference. I think it's also like the first picture in Google Images, so that's what I'm going off of. And face is certainly all fucked up and undead looking. So if Alaric got, like, I mean, there's no getting around the fire on it, so Alaric might just ride that, but I'm just kind of thinking if he can get some horse armor to kind of cover its face and, like, just kind of cover it a little bit, you know,
Definitely.
at least in the meantime, it won't be as intimidating, and the first thought won't be like, oh my god, demon horse. It's like, holy shit, he's got a magical horse on fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's definitely, barding is what it's called in the Citadel, specifically for higher members and Knights of the Reich, and it's all
Ooh.
black themed, black and gold, so it kind of matched the nightmare too.
You know, and if there's anything
I
Alaric
was
can
looking through
do...
Alfred's spells to see if he could disguise it for you, but he doesn't have anything. So
Actually, the Blood Knight's nightmares already have kind of a red and gold barding armor. However, I don't. Honestly, I feel like they wouldn't cover the scary parts of the face because it's more terrifying that way. So yeah,
Yeah.
you'd still need typical horse
Yeah.
armor to cover
And
the face.
so I'm also thinking if in some of the, you know, royal stables here in Aquillonia, if the Kaiser had any personal stuff for his own personal steeds, use that as even extra iconography. Like, yeah, I'm not just talking out my ass. Like, I literally have some personal stuff. Because first off, Alaric probably will go down to the south, send word of everything, let Rickard know what's going on, and figure out, you know, next plan in the south. Take the Reichsmarshal with me back north, and then start planning what to do there. And then he might make some personal appearances in some of these other towns. Now that he has his own personal nightmare, to make some quick. But first and foremost, at least those Blood Knights are out there and they're getting first word out. But still, if I can take some Kaiser iconography for this steed, that'd be pretty dope too.
So, in your search of the royal stables, you come across the Kaiser's aviary, home to his personal fancy, his personal hobby of breeding griffins.
Oh my god, I forgot about the... Well, maybe Alaric didn't know about the griffins, actually.
Well, Luther rode one into battle.
Yeah, he knew Luther had
one. And then got immediately fucking shot by ballista.
Yeah.
But there's none that are as big as the griffin that either Luther or the Kaiser wore mounted, because the Kaiser's was also killed by Arthur mid-flight. That's again, you guys killing Arthur, that was clutch that you guys were clinging to him, because he just swatted Kaiser out of the air.
He did.
Yeah, Kaiser's insane, but his griffin's not. His griffin's no match for a fucking ancient dragon. So fucking Arthur just swatted the griffin out of the air, and what could Kaiser do other than just fucking fall like a fucking rock? But you guys clinging to Arthur is what synced it. But yeah, there is four, count them, 4 adult griffins, young adult griffins.
And they are off limits to Elfric. Keep your fucking mitts off, Elfric.
I have nightmares.
Good.
What's wrong with me getting a griffin?
You got nightmares. You can keep them.
Okay, but what's such a big issue?
What's
such a big issue about me getting a griffin?
Don't add to your collection.
I'm just saying, I haven't gotten Kaiser's corpse yet.
I'm just saying, I don't care. No griffins.
I'm just trying to be helpful, and you're being very rude.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, quit that.
So there you go. There are 4 young adult griffins. They are obviously being fed horse. Like, there's also a little fucking slaughter. It's kind of morbid because this is all kind of like connected to the actual stables. But it appears they have been feasting on only the strongest war horses of the Reich.
Oof.
However, you are going to quickly run out of war horses in Aquillonia if you keep feeding them. You're going to be running out of food in general. So you do kind of got to figure out what you're doing with these griffins.
Could eat some griffins.
Is there a group of people now under under Alaric that are trained, flyers?
Yeah, he had a whole crew of professional griffin guys.
Well, they may need to start doing some rounds and getting their food from other places.
But, my lord, what places? The city is running out of food in general. These things do not eat grain. They eat meat. Unless we start feeding them the bodies of the fallen.
Well, shit. I mean...
Holy Kaiser... Shut up, Greg! No, he deserves to know! He deserves to know the full depravity of that man! Suddenly I am French instead of German. He would feed them live subjects too, my lord. Living people, men, women, children. It fed to their ferocity.
It sends a message, definitely, too.
No strange, not vampire man. It was a secret, to never be shared with anyone outside of these walls.
Well, that's disappointing.
well, people wouldn't be too approving if they learned of the atrocities committed within the citadel.
You just tell them that they were traitors, obviously.
Well,
That is what they said. And many people were executed, including my the former stable master, who had worked here since the days of King Alaric Caen, over 60 years ago. He was 80 years old and had been tending these lands, and just had to say something when Holy Kaiser fed his prized horses to his griffins. And he was crucified and fed to the griffins.
crucified, then fed to the...
I mean,
He had to suffer first.
it's kind of poetic. He spent his entire life feeding and taking care of the griffins. Then he died, and he fed the griffins.
No, there were no griffins here.
Oh,
The Kaiser brought the griffins, and he hired people like myself who were griffin enthusiasts before, and then turned it into an industry. And all we managed to produce is six of the most terrifying griffins that have ever existed. These 4 shall grow up to be the strongest and most bloodthirsty of their kind to have ever walked the material plane.
Elfric.
I implore you, kill them! Do not let them get that old!
Elfric just strokes his goatee, and he's like, "Look, I really wouldn't mind having at least one."
If they're too much for you, Alaric.
I mean, if they're too much for you, like, I have no qualms about getting them food.
See, but joke's on you, because Alaric has struck a pretty solid alliance with some very nature-inclined wood elves in the north. And maybe they can help tame these
as I said, I don't
bloodthirsty
want them all.
beasts.
I don't want them all. I just want one, and I'm sure I could tame them.
And Alaric just, like, slaps Ulfric's hands, like, you don't get any griffins.
No!
No
No!
griffins. No.
I offer to loan you nightmares, and then you have some stray griffins you don't want anymore, and you're just like, no griffins.
I
Alfred.
literally told
No
you I
griffins.
want them.
Come
I
on.
literally told you that you could not have them.
but
You sound like
is that your plan to
Sound
send
like
these
my-
griffins to the Wood Elves of Norskia?
No, they have they're set up here. I'm kind of curious if I can convince some wood elves to come here. You know, if they want to see the southern lands and help me in a unique and challenging task of taming some griffins.
While you're zipping around on your nightmare. That doesn't solve the food issue, though.
It does not, but
if anything, it
And also
but I hate to
the
say
Wood
it.
Elves in Norskia are cannibals as well, by the way.
Well, and I hate to say it, but the griffins, I mean, the current state of the city, there are a lot of dead. You know, if you know, feeding the dead to them is enough, at least it's not literally sacrificing people or eating up the assets of war horses. Like, until, you know, we can get more of a handle on them, like, if Alaric's not going to catch some serious slack about that, it's like, well, there's a lot of fucking dead right now. I mean...
So, okay, so they can either bring the dead to them. They won't eat them if they're rotting, though.
Fair.
Unless they're really, really hungry, which at that point, if they get that hungry, they're just going to eat their handlers.
Okay, here's an idea. What about... Alaric would want to also start burning bodies outside the city. You know, bodies of the dead in general. What if these griffin and their riders make... Oh, Andy's gone. What if they help with the cleanup effort of trying to gather the dead and try to clean up the city and everything, and just, you know, if they're I hate to say it, but if there's some bodies along the way that they could eat, it is what it is. Like, I hate to say it, the Kaiser has had.
Going to throw the point out there.
The Kaiser has had a lot more atrocities than this.
Elfric's going to throw the point out there that if you feed them the bodies, it'll give them a better taste for man flesh, which will make them better war beasts.
Unless
that was the Kaiser's thought.
Yeah, exactly. Elfric agrees with the logic.
Well,
these creatures have already ate quite a few people.
Well, let's hope they only have to eat people for a little bit longer until we can get things a little bit more tame. Right? So...
But I do kind of like thematically that even this is something Holy Kaiser corrupted. Like, even the fucking stables couldn't be left alone. No, he had to fuck with that too, and like make these fucking eugenic monsters.
Whew, I gotta pee real quick. I'll be right back.
It's not a Nazi comparison without a little eugenics.
Yeah, you gotta have a little eugenics.
A little
as a
eugenics.
Treat. As a treat.
Yeah. What's life without a little eugenics?
Exactly.
We all just know that the true eugenics project has been going on in Preble County, and it has led to the creation of the greatest gamers who have ever existed.
Mm-hmm. Everyone knows that. This is where they come from.
Preble County is the gamer mecca.
Okay, so if Trey had said yes to the Griffin, and I didn't think he would, I was going to ask you if Elfric could do some bastard experiments to combine a Griffin with a Nightmare and get the properties of both on the one steed.
It probably. Just don't forget that the stream's still probably running.
It's fine.
And
I'm not getting a
Trey
Griffin.
watches the stream.
I'm not getting a Griffin anyways. Let's be realistic.
I know. Just in the future, if you had any other evil schemes, there he is.
I wouldn't do that.
All right.
No, never.
So yeah, ultimately, I want these Griffin riders to help in the effort of moving bodies out of the city to burn, and to the people in the city, if anyone asks, there will be a memorial set up for the fallen of the city later. But right now, they can't risk the undead right now, so they're just burning. And if the Griffins find some bodies that will sustain them, then they can bring some of them back to the stables to hold them over. You know what I mean?
It does raise an interesting, this whole thing of food. So this is spring, and the fields will need tended if you don't want a famine on your hands on top of everything else. So on top of the zombie apocalypse happening, well, a good thing in your favor is a lot of people have already died, so that's less mouths to feed.
You're not wrong.
I mean, technically speaking, what you could do is you could take those bodies and then, disguise them somehow, make them into, like, meat patties or something, put them in your food storage, and then feed them to the common folk to try and prevent the famine as well.
Solvent greed is people!
Elfric's just over here like, just resort to cannibalism, buddy.
I love how the solvent green thing is like the whole point of that whole movie is it's, a like crazy future and people are being turned into food. But then that's just like a part of Warhammer 40k and they all know it and just accept it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have you had enough of your death starch or whatever it's called? A lot of good people die to give you that food, literally. Like, 40k is so fucked up that the entire plot of Solvent Green is just common knowledge and people don't care. Like, just imagining like some fucking random guardsman, the death starch is people! Yeah, man, we know. Did you just learn that? Where else do you think we're going to get enough food to feed millions and billions and trillions of people?
Yeah, you gotta recycle.
You recycle the people.
Exactly.
Simple solution.
Gotta follow the 3 R's.
Just more evidence that the Imperium is not the good guys.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. If you gotta resort to cannibalism to survive, then, so be it.
God damn it. Every single member of humanity in the 40k universe is technically a cannibal.
Doesn't that fuck up genetics or something? Like fuck up something with people if they eat too much meat?
It's a thing that's been in movies, but as far as I know, it's just eating brains will fuck you up.
Huh.
From what I know, you would have to eat a lot of it too. It wouldn't be one of those you do it once and it fucks you up. It'd be you do it repeatedly and it fucks you up.
Cannibalism, a health warning.
A health warning.
Yeah. Kuru infected cannibals. What? The health risks of cannibalism. Do your head neighbors look tasty? I hope not. Yeah. Is Kuru, which occurs in the consumption of human brains. Kuru is a prion, a type of incurable progressive neurodegenerative disorder. Yeah. Mad cow disease.
Damn.
Mad person disease.
But if you're just eating the meat, you're fine.
Supposedly, the muscle structure is similar to pigs, so it should taste like pork.
Oh my god.
That is what they say.
Anyway.
Think about that next time you're eating some bacon, Trey.
What's
You
the
scrape some off, you're like, this could be
every time I
pig,
eat
this could be
bacon.
person. Who knows?
What's the next thing we got to figure out?
What is actually in your pineapple ham? Is it ham, Trey?
Well, if I
The
tell
real
you,
reason your landlord never gets back to you is because you fucking ate him!
You don't even remember the trauma.
It was the ham for your Christmas dinner. You're like, don't worry, fam. I got the ham.
yeah, if I tell you, then you'll have to be my ham next year.
They're all like, this ham's amazing. I'm so glad we let you do the ham this year. Yeah, thanks. My landlord gave it to me. He helped out. Couldn't have done it without my landlord.
And then he moved away, and he didn't tell me where he was going. So,
Oh, he provided the meat. Anyway. Okay. Well, going to Nordensgrad now.
Well, Gloucestershire, right?
Gloucestershire. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Force of habit. Nordensgrad's
The ruins
Been
of the
TKO.
Crown Lands.
the ruins of the Crown Lands. Are you leaving? Okay. I guess if you're going back, are you going to take the body and bones of Wolfgang and Richard with you?
If-
And what about Holy Kaiser's body?
Elfric is still trying to lay claim to Holy Kaiser's body here.
Okay,
But,
this might be something you two have to resolve.
Alright, so is he still zombie? What's going on with him now? He got blown up,
you
right?
killed the zombie. Yeah, you killed the zombie part. Yeah, he died when the explosion happened.
But Roy did specify that his body was mostly intact, so it's a simple matter of Elfric reanimating him
Alfred could
again.
definitely reanimate him again.
Right, and and so then Alaric had Prize and Balian take the body and guard it.
Yeah, and Elfric's been following you for the most part, so
Yeah.
And they've already, I'm assuming, took the armor off and everything. So
yeah, if you wanted them to, for sure.
hell yeah. Take that armor off him.
I mean, displaying him in the armor, if you're gonna do that, might make it more convincing that it's actually him, too. Like, because he was known for wearing the mithril armor, so showing the shattered remains of the mithril armor on him.
But it's mithril armor.
There is that, too.
It is the only set of mithril armor in the material plane.
And Alaric has dibs on it. He has plans for that armor.
That's fine. That's fine. Elfric just wants the corpse.
I'm sure you do, but...
I do. I want a souvenir. This guy's been trying to kill me for, like, decades.
Well,
He's going to give me goblets of blood.
So,
great.
I say at this point, we go down and we're down at the corpse, and Elfric has followed me to where we're keeping it. And as Elfric's kind of talking about this, like, well, I want this, and everything, Alaric is just kind of getting annoyed, and it's like, alright, well, I have some use too, and is going to take Flamberge out and cut off the Kaiser's head.
Oh! Snappy stew.
Why would you do that?
And perfectly cauterized so it doesn't make a mess. And Alaric is going to be holding this head by the hair and a little callously go to walk out of the room and just be like, the rest is yours.
You son of a bitch!
And leaves Elfric with the headless body of the Kaiser laying on this slab or whatever.
That's what we call in the business a pro gamer move.
And Bailey and Prize can come with me at this point.
Okay, so are Balian and Prize coming with you to the south, or are you leaving them in Aquillonia?
Well, they don't need to be watching the body anymore, so...
But if you don't leave them in Aquillonia, you don't have anyone watching over the city.
No. They can stay here. They can help coordinate until I come back.
I was just like, hold on a second.
I just meant they can leave the room and leave Elfric with this body of the Kaiser.
Mm-hmm.
But, they can help Alaric now and help actually tend to stuff around. And Alaric's going to ask that of them. He's not going to be like, alright, this is what it's like, alright, I need some people here I fucking trust. Are you down to stay? Kind of along those lines. Like, I know you're going to say yes, but more as a formality. Like, I need someone here. You good?
Mm-hmm. Okay,
so he'll have them
are
stay.
You taking the armor with you to Rostershire? What are you doing with the armor?
Alaric wants that kind of, locked up for the moment. But, can I... You know how I did that, the armor... Or, I guess, I did the armor on Hero Forge. Well, I guess that's later, but Alaric wouldn't mind, taking a few pieces of the armor and replacing it of his own, But I guess the shoulder pad is a giant fucking skull and, something else, so...
Mm-hmm.
That the Kaiser had, so...
It's a very angsty motif.
Let me look real quick. Because, Alaric still wouldn't mind... He's gonna have the Kaiser's head, but he wouldn't mind something else as a show. No, And I'm adopting this for the, Let me see.
Elfric is gonna have a Blood Knight transport the rest of Holy Kaiser's body back to Bloodhaven for safekeeping. Still pissed that he didn't get the fucking head.
I bet he is.
He is. You don't want a headless corpse serving your blood tray, it'll spill it fucking everywhere. You know how hard it is to get bloodstains out of clothes? The answer is very.
Well, that's why I cauterized it for you. You're fine.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying if I use him to serve blood now, he no longer has a head, so he can't navigate very well, and he'll spill the blood on me. So you've ruined that for me. Thanks.
Yeah, I don't know. There really isn't much I can do other than taking a giant-ass skull and a big-ass ram's head on his shoulders. And that's not exactly the vibe Alaric's going for. But he'll have the Kaiser's head. And he has his hammer, Armageddon.
Mm.
Was that laurel crown destroyed?
Yeah, it was just gold.
Okay. Is that...
And it's-
I know on the mini it's gold, but is that with the skull and that ram's head on his shoulder pads? Are those gold too? Like, would that be gone?
Let me pull his mini back up.
Does-
Because I think those would have just been like gold additions, like sitting on top of the mithril.
like, coated?
Well, they wouldn't have. The mithril is just the plate.
Okay,
Like-
dude, okay, can you look at... you can look at the Kaisers, but then also look at, the Alaric one I did with the mithril. Could we say that the shoulder pads are basically like that, and the gold skull and ram's head are kind of just sitting on top of that basic plate?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That they
Oh.
tried to use as little. They had to use as little mithril as possible. Like, so they wouldn't have made a giant ram or skull with it. You know.
Yeah, and just for fun. Yeah, so, yeah, if I'm thinking of, even though the full armor wouldn't be completely realized like this, if he can throw those shoulder pads on, even though they'll be battle damaged, he'll throw those on instead of his own.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that would make sense. I'm actually, like, displaying the minis on the stream, too, since I can. Just literally show it real quick. So yeah, Alaric's walking around with the head of Kaiser. Well, he'll put it in the bag of holding. I'm sure there's a little bit of preservation in this little pocket dimension. You know, I think it's a vacuum or something. So put the head in there with the hammer. He'll put those mithril, kind of melty, battle damaged shoulder pads on as an extra layer of show, and he'll if he's able to basically bring the bodies in, yeah, he'll shoot to bring the bodies of Wolfgang and what he can of Balian and Wolfgang with him. Unless everything would just, like, fall apart and it'd just be like, you know what I mean? I don't know. He wouldn't want to be disrespectful if it's going to be easier to bring him back another way later.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fine. So,
because I think Balian got scorched, or I'm sorry, Richard got scorched, right?
Oh yeah, Richard is bones in melted metal. So he's just going to be brought home in a box.
Yeah, but Wolfgang is, like, still intact, right?
Still intact, but pulverized. His is a closed casket funeral.
I'll have him wrapped up in a, wrapped up, but we can kind of bring him on the, with the nightmare. And, well, I mean, I hate to say it, but Leon doesn't have anyone to collect the remains.
No,
So, I mean, he will be brought back to his land and, buried accordingly, but no one else is going to be bad. At least the Regenstoffens, somebody will be waiting to hear back from him.
So you're bringing the armor, and you're bringing the head of Holy Kaiser, and you're bringing the bodies of Richard and Wolfgang with respect, as much as dignity, as much as you can give them.
Yeah, if Richard, he can't be brought, so he'll just be sent back in a box. But you know what I mean? Unless I can bring the box with me, otherwise he'll just have to be taken another way, I guess. But Regenstoffen, I can probably at least throw over the nightmare wrapped up, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I can at least bring him, but I would imagine trying to put a skeleton in armor on a horse would just fall apart, so...
You could strap a chest to the horse, I'm sure.
A chest? Like a box? With the horse?
Yeah, no, he is a box. He is in shambles. He is bits of bone and
You're
he was
scooping him up with a
incinerated.
shovel.
You were scooping him up with a shovel, exactly.
Well, there's still plate, right? He was in full plate.
Yeah, but
So the bones are just rattling around in the full plate, probably still in the shape of a person.
Well, but he got hit with
melted
dragon's
metal.
breath. It melted the armor, yeah.
Oh my god.
No, you're right. It's like the equivalent of full plate melted to these bones and ashes and shards of bone, what wasn't incinerated, but
Yeah.
it's enough that you could shove it into a traveling chest,
Oof.
one of those big old Victorian
Yeah.
traveling chests. But you could definitely strap one of those to the nightmare.
Oof. Okay, yeah, he'll do it. That's rough, but yeah, he'll do that. And just sling Regenstoffen over the back. And bring them south. And so Alaric's really only going to take the shoulders off this armor, and the rest of it he's going to have vaulted in the castle. For later use. But he doesn't want anyone else getting to it since it's so rare.
Okay.
Could we say, right about this time is about when Aller finally gets back to the palace?
Yeah, definitely.
Alright,
Aller's
so
back.
Aller's going to seek out Alaric with a couple bottles of mead. And when he finds Alaric, I'm figuring you're just kind of in your own personal quarters at this point, changing out the pieces of your armor and everything. So
Yeah, preparing
Aller's
to leave.
just going to, open... Alright, so Aller's just going to, crack the door and look inside and see if you're in there. When he does, he's going to open the door, open the door, then he's going to peek back out, and he's going to use his, he is going to use his divine sense to see if he can detect any undead or celestial fiends, whatever, within 60 feet that aren't behind total cover. It's he's going to peek back out the door and look up and down the hallway and do that. Mostly just to make sure Elfric's not nearby.
Is
And then
Elfric
he's going to
nearby?
shut the door, and he's going to...
You're the one in control.
That is true. Elfric would have, if you're just changing clothes, Elfric's actually going to go to Bloodhaven, and he's going to put on his old suit of leather armor from way back in the day.
Ooh.
He still got that one from when he adventured with you as a person. So he's going to put that on, and when Aller doesn't detect Elfric nearby, he'll shut the door, he'll put one bottle of mead down the table, and he'll toss the other one to you. I know this is a relatively minor issue, but we need to talk about it. You're having a bastard child with Ayesa. You need to do something about it. Either acknowledge the kid, ensure the kid's taken care of, whatever. My sense of honor will not stand for this otherwise.
Shit.
And
Well, this is a little out of left
I'm your
field, Aller.
friend. Well, I've been kind of trying to save it, but I nearly died tonight. Okay, I've been kind of trying to put it off, but a lot of people are dead. The world's ending. I'm talking to you about it while we have a chance to talk about it. This is the one lull we've had for a little bit. You know, where we're not preparing to invade, we're not killing an evil god, we're not, you know, dealing with Evil God Part 2.
Evil Guard Part 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Something needs to happen. I am your friend. I don't want to oppose you on this. If you force my hand, I am in a position to where you won't control the North. I'm not married yet, and if I claim the throne
Alaric
instead,
is just going to put his hand up and like, Aller, that is unnecessary. The lady has made her
I hope so.
has made her rulings, but I decide my own fate.
Oh!
Wait, so you're taking care of it?
I'm taking care of it.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. Aller just sits down, opens his little bottle of meat, and takes another big drink again. He's like, I'm glad we got that aired out. That's all Aller really had. So
things are crazy and right now, and definitely need tended to first. I need to make sure that our
yes,
the world is going to be capable of holding future generations first off. But when things are settled,
but this is my exactly. It just, with everything going on, I just wanted to make sure your child did not get buried under everything else.
Let's see if I can pull this up. Let's see. When would that... I guess that would have been at some point... Oh, yeah, pregnancies are revealed. I'm looking at the calendar now. Damn, we haven't updated this in a hot minute.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Battle. Oh, nope. Okay, there it is. Battle for the South. We had it about early to midday, March 28th. So it would technically be the next morning of, which would make it March 29th on a Sunday.
Today is March 29th, you said?
Yeah, the day is March 29th.
Yeah, so I guess Aller's other question would be, like, what are you wanting him to do now? Like, do you want him to stay here? Do you want him to go with you? Aller doesn't know anything what's going on, though, so he's just kind of a blank slate for this scenario.
Honestly, I'm kind of feeling like Aller with Prize and Balian might be best in Aquillonia for the moment, because I mean Alaric is kind of planning at the moment in the south. He just needs to like check in and like update them on what's going on and bring the Reichsmarshal back. So Alaric plans on being back in Aquillonia probably within the next like hour or two. So at the moment he kind of just wants to make sure everything's held on, and you know, any rescue efforts and anything else in the city of Aquillonia is tended to. So I guess that's what he'll have you Aller, Balian, and Prize all kind of be tending to. His trusted advisors left in his steed.
Aller's just like, he gives you a thumb up, like, I got you, bro.
I'm glad to have people I trust here. Thanks for all you did in this fight. It definitely wasn't easy, and he'll take a swig of that mead as well.
Yeah. Aller chuckles. He's like, yeah, but it'll probably be a pretty glorious story afterwards. Even as miserable as it is right now.
We'll get there.
And hey, we might have saved the world. Who knows?
And we're one step closer to a united Terva.
One step closer, exactly.
And at least with your help in the north afterwards, it'll, I mean, this is the biggest alliance Terva has ever seen, so regardless, we're making history.
Yeah.
Alright.
That's true.
What next?
We're a part of something bigger than ourselves.
You go south. Unless there's something else.
No, I think that's it.
Okay. You get on the Nightmare with your with all the baggage and bodies, with Flamberge at your side and Armageddon in your bag of holding.
Yeah. Two of the
And
most
Holy
powerful
Kaiser's
weapons.
head belted to your side. You go back to Rostershire. So it's still early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go for a grandiose entrance, holding aloft the Kaiser's head?
I think Alaric will maybe not be like, oh yeah, but just kind of like holding it kind of, at his side, like kind of just holding it like this.
My dear brother in Christ, I have got a speech for you. I'm sorry, I'm such a bitch, but check it.
Thanks, AI.
Dude. If it'll let me.
You can send it in like Discord or something.
Copy. Okay, I'll send it in Discord. Yep. So, depending on what kind of entrance you want, like I could have it like whoosh, suddenly you're there and everybody's like you're sitting there flying above them on the Nightmare. Or you can appear in the castle quietly if you don't want to do a grandiose entrance. I've just been munching on these fucking... While you're thinking about it, I'm going to go grab myself some chippy chips so I quit munching on fucking mints.
Yeah, I think I will too. Andy, let's take a quick break.
Alright, I kind of got to piss anyway, so...
Yeah, sorry. Let me finish reading this, and then we'll be good to go. See if there's anything else or anything I didn't want to say, or anything I did want to add.
I swear, man. AI. It's coming for our gerbs!
They're gonna take our gerbs?
That last little bit seems a little extra. So, I won't include that. But
Yeah, like, I always feel like it kind of goes, like, too far in what you don't, like...
it gets redundant.
Yeah, it definitely gets redundant. It will repeat the same theme over and over again. And then that's why you gotta, like, keep, like, having it rewrite what you just did. See, that's, like, the first draft, and then I could hit it with, like, okay, drop the last bit, and, like, quit focusing on this, and it'll do it.
Damn.
But the thing is, every time you rewrite it, it will also rewrite the sections that were good. And it might write them a little shittier.
Hey, that's why we go through and proofread.
I mean, it's an art form, you know? Like, I mean, yes, writers, I mean, they write, I guess, but the true artists of the world is people who can just do really good prompts in AI.
Oh my god.
That's where the real talent is. It's the future, old man. Wake up.
Damn computers won't take my job. Swear to God.
Especially on how fucking it's advanced in a year. Just remember, like, deepfakes, like, started becoming a thing at, like, last year, 2000, or, like, 2001 was, like, when the first deepfake started, like, appearing. And it's just only, like, fucking skyrocketed since then.
We'll have full movies and shows written and then portrayed by AI.
Oh, it's there. It's already like it's coming. Like AI is going to do animation and everything. It's coming. It's coming like a freight train. We're currently living through like how the Industrial Revolution and how quickly technology advances, and then like the internet. It's currently that way. Like,
The internet
have you guys
revolution.
seen the Seinfeld stream?
Mm-mm.
Where AI is both writing and animating episodes of Seinfeld in real time, and it's getting better in real time to where the jokes are actually starting to fucking land.
Damn.
It looks like hot garbage. Like it's awful looking, but like AI, that stream is AI learning how to make us like a successful sitcom in real time, and it's doing it within like 2 weeks.
Jesus. Do you hear that, Hestia? The robots are going to replace us.
I don't know if you've ever heard any, like recently, like any of the voices.
Mm-mm.
Like it's like the AI voice synthesizing is off the charts. It can perfectly match cadence, and it can get a little wacky with pitch here and there still. But like at a certain point, it's going to happen where big name actors or like corporations will just sell voice packages of actors, and then you could just have an AI voice act for you, including dead actors. So you could just have Marilyn Monroe voice act in your new show.
Actually, Disney's already kind of doing that. They have the rights to James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones, exactly. I mean, that's the
Vader.
best example, but that technology is going to become cheaper and cheaper until everyone can
Yeah.
do it. And voice actors are going to have to sue these companies to keep their jobs. To
Yeah.
hey, actually hire me. Don't just use my voice. Don't just use the AI. And big companies like Disney, obviously, and big gaming companies will. I mean, they're not going to fucking use someone's voice without getting their permission.
Yeah.
But it's going to get fucking wacky, and that is it's all just within every week there is a new insane development with AI. It's crazy.
All right, so
Anywho.
They're gonna take over, man.
So I think Alaric's going to come in a little hot, at least holding the head of the Kaiser, and because a good chunk of all of the Southern leadership is still here in Rostershire, right? I mean, it's literally for them been a night.
Everyone who's still alive.
Well, yeah, that we left from last time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Alaric will go to the castle at Rostershire where a lot of them are, and where there's a dragon waiting? What?
Wrong battle map.
Another dragon just attacks out of nowhere.
Arthur's back. What's up?
Yeah, he wasn't actually dead. He just wanted us to deal with this shit for him.
My god, though, that's actually another thing we'll have to unpack, is what Holy Kaiser did to Arthur's body. But anyway, we can... You haven't found it yet. We can do Rostershire first. Yeah, what's going on, Alaric? What are you doing?
Sorry. He's gonna ride into the city. I don't know how close I can get or where I'm exactly going. Oh, I see. That's there. This is the castle up here, right?
Yeah, this is a castle.
I see. Separated. Duh.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I don't know where everyone would be, and where he would make that announcement, but he would at least probably ride into the city or appear in the lower city and kind of make a show of his arrival, at least calling people in, at least the morning crowd on his way to the castle.
Are you is the nightmare flying, or are you walking through the city?
Walking.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. Needless to say, the crowds are aghast and amazed. They see you holding Holy Kaiser's head. Are you holding Holy Kaiser's head at, aloft as you're going down, or just have his head on your hip?
Yeah, just kind of holding it at my side like I would a lantern or something.
Oh, shit.
Not outstretched, not held up in the air or but just kind of as I'm, trotting along on the horse, it's just right next to me.
Dude, people are going fucking nuts. At first it's, just shock and amazement that you're back, and but as it's clear you're dead ass making your way towards the keep, and people are realizing whose head you're holding. People are starting to go fucking nuts, the dude from Avatar who foams at the mouth. Holy shit, he did it. Holy shit, he did it. The Holy Kaiser's dead, oh my god! Praise be the lady!
Cheers all around. Much festivities. As he makes his way to the castle. And I'm sure this crowd at this point is just following him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alaric's just making a big thing. He appears down here at the southern gate and just works his way all the way through. His mere presence creates a parade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people like there's refugees in tents crowding the streets, so they're all following you. The actual citizens of Rochester are poking their heads out of their windows and seeing you riding down. Guards of Rochester are like having to like make a path for you as people are wanting to like rush up and like kiss your boots.
And Alaric's not just like completely basking, but he is taking a moment to appreciate it. It's like, fuck yeah, we did this. Like, you know what? I kind of earned that.
Yeah. Bells, the church bells begin tolling.
But, yeah, I'll make my way up here to the main castle and see who's waiting and what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. The guards at this gate here open it to let you through into the to the noble section of Rostershire. And now the nobility of the Steel Fields are here to greet you. Many of the nobles have fled their estates outside the duchy, and all of the other wealthy and nobility who were just basically everywhere north of Rostershire have taken inns and whatever in this rich area, so they're all like, now it's the wealthy following you to the gates of the actual castle. The drawbridge is lowered and you're allowed across. The guards are unable to stop. Like, some of them may have like attempted to stop the crowd from also passing, but it's just impossible. And basically you have all of Rostershire and all of the refugees crossing into the castle courtyard. And then at the castle courtyard you got the actual nobility and Rickard standing upon the steps of the entrance. Fucking like Rickard just, fuck yeah! Fuck yeah!
Did it.
Rickard's hype.
That bastard did it.
That son of a bitch.
And at least, you know, now everybody knows he's here. The nobility knows he's here, and Alaric's just gonna kind of ride this and like just almost seamlessly use his cloak and just start kind of floating off of the horse. And wants to make his announcement to everybody and be in sight of everyone from this crowd and everything.
I bet you do.
Alaric will, his voice will boom. Behold, I have returned, and I stand before you today as rightful king of the Southern Kingdom to deliver the news of his downfall. They're the downfall of the Kaiser, the false prophet who claimed divinity and who has been vanquished. His head displayed as proof of his death. The reign of terror he inflicted upon our people has come to an end. No longer shall our people suffer at the hands of his crazed zealots. Today I stand before you with the head of the Kaiser held high, a symbol of our victory over the darkness that once threatened our land. Gather round, all of you, and behold the true face of evil, and as this is what we have overcome, what we have defeated. This is what we have claimed as our own with steel and fire and courage and valor. This is the victory of the South and the victory of our people. But make no mistake, my friends, our work is far from done. The armies of the undead still march across our land under the command of Osmodius. We must come together as one people to drive them back, to reclaim what was lost, and to secure our future. I know that there are those who will question my rule, who will question my legitimacy. But I say to you, my friends, I am the rightful king of the South, chosen by the gods and crowned by the lady herself. I am inheritor of divine responsibility and protector of our people, and of Terva. So let us come together in unity and reclaim what is ours. Let us show the world what it means to be human, to be free, to be strong. Let us defeat the undead. Let us reclaim our land in the north, and let us restore our kingdom to its former glory. And he'll end that.
Roll for persuasion. Roll for persuasion. With advantage because of the crowd and Neverwinter.
I would love to.
$28 and a 17.
28.
28. Fucking frothing at the mouth. Oh my god.
That bastard did it.
Yeah, they cheer out "Long live the king" and "Hail King Alaric." Those cheers are echoed through the street. Tears of relief and joy streak down the faces of the citizens. Women hug each other. Men lift children into the air to catch a glimpse of the man who saved their lives. Alaric Caen. The returned king. Resplendent. And you also hear quite a few praise the ladies in there.
Hey. Praise to the lady. She did some good work there too.
Okay. What doth thou do now? As you're surrounded by raving fans.
Alright, so at this point...
There's even tears in the eyes of the soldiers.
I mean, at this point, he'll float down to meet with Rickard and actually start convening. I mean, he started a riot in this city and just gonna leave it, but, you know, at least people can party and celebrate and have a reason for it. But now it's on to business. Alaric's got to go meet with the nobles, figure out what's going on and what to do next.
Rickard will extend his hand to do the whole bro clasping of forearms thing. You son of a bitch.
You kept the place standing while I was gone.
I did better this time than last time, but yeah. It helps when you come back.
Yeah. You think, what, you think he was gonna stop me and just kind of gesture to Kaiser?
Certainly not like that, he's not.
How have,
My god, so that's really him, huh?
That's him. What's left of him?
I always heard he was younger. This is a decrepit, nasty.
With his,
I guess his corruption corrupted his body too.
with his defeat, I think all of his crimes have caught up with him. All his favors exhausted. How have things been holding up? Oh yeah.
Before Rickard can tell you how things are going, Baron Balian comes over and praise be King Alaric for bringing back peace to our lands. We never doubted you for 1 second. Cheers of the crowd.
He'll Sorry, go ahead. If you had.
But he says kind of quietly, but I can't help but notice you come alone.
Luckily, there's no bad news I have to deliver to you, Lord Baron. Lord Baron? Yeah, Lord Baron. Your son
Baron
fought.
Balian.
Your son fought valiantly and proved a true hero in the north. He helps maintain peace in Aquillonia while I'm away here.
You could see the relief hit him, and he quickly composes himself and says, "Of that I had no doubt that my son Alexander Balian would not win great honor for House Balian." And crowd, yay, House Balian!
I'm happy I could deliver this good news to you, but other houses won't be as lucky. So let's compose ourselves. And he'll just, like, kind of a little sternly, like,
He doesn't notice. He's just drinking in the cheers of the crowd.
Of course he is.
Don't forget who gave you that food! Yay!
He'll gesture to Balian and, like, well, you mind doing us the kindness of hosting me and these other nobles as we figure out or plan our next move? Kind of gesturing
course,
like,
of course.
let's take this inside.
Of course, my King Alaric, House Castle Rostershire stands open to the savior of the South. Enjoy my hospitality! Yay!
And as he starts walking, he just kind of starts patting him, like, yep, come on, let's go.
He's drug away by you from the crowd. And he's still, like, turning over his shoulder to, like, smile and wave.
And if there's any other of the noble houses, like, you know, Regenstoffen or
oh yeah,
anyone else around,
oh, yeah,
it's
there
like,
is.
all right, come on, it's time to talk.
Oh yeah, there is. You got House Swan, and you got the Regenstoffens. Yeah, you're led inside Castle Rostershire. It is well appointed, but has remains the same as when you left it, because it's only been one day. And it was just a castle set up for war, so there's still barricades, like the remnants of barricades that they had set up should the battle have gone ill, and they have had to defend the castle.
Mm-hmm.
But you lead them. Are you? Where are you wanting to have this talk? Somewhere more private, or just like in the castle?
Someone more private, like you know, an office or war room or something like that.
Yeah, he's definitely got a library / map room / war room.
Okay, cool.
Like it's where you had planned the defense of the city, and it is spacious enough that all the members of the nobility can be in there.
Chiefs won.
The Chiefs
All
won,
down to one kick, just like the Bengals. They won
and they won the same way they
same way.
defeated the Bengals with a field goal.
It was Chiefs and who? Eagles?
Eagles. The Eagles fucking flew during that initial possession. They went nuts. They scored within, I think, a minute.
Oh my god.
Got a touchdown. Yeah, that was nuts.
I don't think 8.
I wonder what the final score was. Superb Owl. 38-35.
Damn. Yeah, literally.
I want to go fill up my water. I'll be like 4 seconds.
While I'm timing him.
Yeah, right?
So many houses to put in their fucking place.
Yeah, and you get to tell 2 of them about their dead relatives.
Uh-huh. Hey,
Or
didn't
one of them, I guess.
didn't
I guess Leon.
Aller's
Leon
future
doesn't have
wife make it?
Yeah, Alar's future wife made it. We rolled for her. She was going to get the, she was going to slay the Reich Prince, and then your magic missile keeps streaking in from above and fucking finished him off.
Yeah, dude.
Remember?
Well, yeah, don't let Aller forget he's got to get married now.
Aw, shit.
Yeah, Alar's getting married. That's Aller remembered. That's why he threatened to claim the throne of the North for his own there.
Yeah.
Aller's been sitting on that for a minute.
I have a marriage. Yeah. You lead them to the war room with all the other members of nobility. Of which there's quite a few. And yeah. House Grey too, can't forget about them. Jesus Christ! It's actually amazing how much of the nobility survived.
Yeah,
I was really expecting
considering-
this list to get a lot smaller.
Yeah, especially considering a lot of them took like an artillery hit too, because all the
Yeah.
Swan Knights and shit that rode in got immediately annihilated by trebuchet fire.
Oh, yeah.
And here they are.
So technically, the only 2 that are not there is Balian and Wolfgang.
Yeah. Everyone else is accounted for,
And
actually.
Prize, actually.
Yeah.
But
Richard too, but I'm not pulling up his picture
Right.
for obvious reasons.
He's with us in spirit.
Yeah, got quite a few people. Well, Alaric will, start by letting everybody know that what he says is the truth and the Kaiser is no more. Aquillonia has been pacified, but is faring a lot worse with the undead and is currently being fucked. And that the south, all the precautions that, just want to throw it out there, that all the precautions he's instilled over all these years has really helped the South and come in clutch, and that's the only reason that we're doing okay, and the North is royally fucked. Alaric his intention is to go north and really help with, stabilizing Aquillonia how best he can. And, but to actually stop the undead, it's going to take a lot more, and is something that is an endeavor that he will have to go on. But stabilization of the realm of the united human kingdoms is kind of top priority right now. So he'll kind of dump all that right now. I don't know if any of these nobility will have anything to say or weigh in on this. But catch them up to that
Balian
point.
just sings your praises afterwards. Yeah, all of him and Lord Malister, both kind of sycophantly, like, shuck your dick a little bit.
that will lead him to the battle itself.
Lord Errol and Duke Jan, Duke Jan and Duke Errol are like nervously watching you.
Out of the knights that he took with him personally to this endeavor in this brutal and horrible fight, we had 3 casualties. One being Sir Wolfgang Regenstoffen, the second being Lord Richard Leon, and the third being Terry Brothblood of Aquillonia himself.
Who?
He gave his life for this.
Yeah, he means nothing to these lords.
Well, he's saying it anyway. Fuck them.
I know. No, totally.
Alaric is, and he's not going to take any scoffing or anything. He's like, no, he deserves.
But like, legitimately, Lady Jean asks Andrew next to her, who is Terry? And Andrew says that was the Aquilonian.
Yeah, the Aquilonian.
He gave his life. But he will.
She just kind of does a okay.
He will say that of the survivors, Sir Alex Balian and Sir Flynn Prize have stayed in Aquillonia to help maintain stability, as well as Allard Thorson, and that they currently are in Aquillonia to maintain peace while he's here delivering this news. So, sing their praises for a hot second, and all that they've done for not only the South, but the North as well. But the sacrifices of those we lost won't be forgotten. Kind of go on a whole spiel, really trying to give honor to the ones they've lost, and singing the praise of the 2 knights that have fucking made it against all odds.
Roll a charisma check.
Just straight charisma?
Yeah.
$22.
22.
Is it just persuasion you get an advantage on because of the crown?
Yes, persuasion I get advantage, and persuasion I have a little bit.
It could be persuasion.
Oh, I'd love to try again. Second one was a what? So we'll stick with the 22 if you want.
Yeah. Well, okay. So with persuasion, it makes it a 11. So
yes,
17
because
plus 11, it'd have been a 28.
Because it gives my proficiency bonus as well.
Like all of the nobles just all have vastly different reactions to this. All of them positive, except one. I'm sure you could guess who. I'll go through them all. Bailey and Alicia are just, whoa! Of course he did. Of course my son and brother did so well, and of course you left him in command. My son is in command of the entire North right now.
Milking it hard.
Yeah, but really hanging on that you left him you definitely said both him and Prize, but all they heard was, and I left Alex in charge of Aquillonia. He left Alex in charge of Aquillonia. We'll come back to Lord Jan. Lord Gellin doesn't really fucking matter. He just he's just an old man. Lord Flynn or Errol, when you said that you lost members, you could see the fear in his eyes. And he is just relieved. A other members of the nobility are coming around and like patting him on the back and like, a great victory for House Prize. And he's like, yeah, thanks, but I'm just happy my son's alive.
Oh, so
like
awesome.
he was like not pushing his son to go. It was Flynn that was like, oh, if anyone's going, it's fucking me, Dad. Best archer in the kingdom. Come on. And his dad's like, yeah, you are, but please don't die.
My baby boy.
Lady Jean is just that, like, her reaction is just to ask who the fuck Terry was.
Just a polite, like, oh, yes, okay. Good job, everyone.
Yes, great. When do I get Orleans? When's that happening? Andrew and Samwise Stalwart are very graven dudes. They're very, very stoic and stalwart. And they like they're both just kind of grim, but like kind of nodding their head and just joining the general like, yay. Eleanor is upset that she didn't go.
She could have.
Is she happy her fiance
Or
is
no, no, no.
alive?
Oh, her
No,
father would not. Her Malister like put his foot down that she could not go.
Wasn't she injured? Like, she survived, but she was injured from battle,
Yeah,
and
she
that's
was
why she
injured,
couldn't
too.
or something?
She was injured on top of it, and so Malister was like, "Fuck no, you're not. You are
Okay.
not going. You literally just barely survived the actual battle of Rostershire."
But
So
your
she's just
fiance lives.
she's happy to hear that. Or she's just like, oh, okay. Might be more to this guy than I thought. And Malister is just singing your praises. Caledon he is also just super hyped. He's like a 13-year-old kid, so he's just like, you've just become his like number one idol. And he's like, cool! Of course the Kaiser couldn't defeat Alaric.
He's the best.
And Wesley and Nelson Gray are also just happy to hear the news. Duke Yon, though, is just kind of fucking devastated at the news of his beloved brother's death.
Yeah.
Like, amongst the jovialness of literally everyone else, every time someone sees him, they're like, aw, shit. And they all go over and be like, hey, he won great victory, like, he died, and he's just kind of, like, quietly, like, as his eyes are darting back and forth, like, on the ground, like, just, yep, sure did. Yeah. Yeah, his son was there too. Welf is crying, and he's just Lord Yon is just kind of like quietly chastising him to stiffen up. And the boy's like, okay.
Yeah, at some point, Alaric would, I don't know if now's the right time, but Alaric would make it a point to, more try to comfort the Regenstoffens a little bit more, but, talk to him in the same way, but just more privately. Yeah, I think that'll be more private.
Okay. And finally, the last two, Rickard is just fucking hyped. And just behind you, quietly hyped. He's not being your hype man in the back, but he's just like,
he just looks like a proud dad.
He's just like, oh my god, thank god. If you had died, oh my god, I was so fucking done. If you had died, you would never I would never show my face on this fucking continent again.
No one would ever hear from me ever again.
I would be gone in the middle of the night to Alvera, and no one would ever see me again. Be so fucking done with this continent. So he's just like, thank God. Yeah, thank God you won. Um, and Carl Aldermark is also just astounded. It just, like, kind of in shock himself and just can't believe that his personal and not personal, his people's hell is finally over.
Yeah, literally.
I mean, I'm imagining, like, if the Valkyrie plan had gone off and Hitler had been blown up at the end of the Reich when shit was going really bad, like, what Rommel's reaction would have been. Just like, thank fucking God, finally. Oh my God, I can't believe it. I don't have to take the pill.
People forget the first victims of the Reich were the Reich's people.
Was the Reich itself, the citizens of the Reich itself. So you go around talking to the nobles. The only ones who, well, I mean, all of them have something interesting to say, just about. Except for Balian, who just continues sycophanting and just being hyped. Is there anything you want to say personally to Errol Prize?
Other than just complimenting his son all around, basically, and like all and their contributions in the battle, obviously, but because now's probably the first like real breath of like peace these people have felt for like a week or so.
Mm-hmm.
So, he will actually kind of formally be trying to thank everybody, but, it's like, man, but your son, like, oh, shit. We could not have done it without him, and, like, his bravery and blah, blah, blah.
His son basically stopped Holy Speaker himself with that, entangling shot.
Basically
single-handedly. Holy Speaker didn't get off a single fucking spell. Imagine how that fight would have been if you had a powerful lightning dishing spellcaster behind Holy Kaiser.
Oh yeah.
It just didn't happen.
100%.
Yeah, it just didn't happen because of that fucking entanglement spell.
And you tell him all that, you regale him with the specifics of the fight and how Flynn was the direct downfall of one of our greatest foes, the Holy Speaker. And Errol, he's kind of smiling and everything as you're telling him, but like you can tell he has something he wants to say, so like you kind of like feel the need to wrap up what you're saying.
Sure.
And he gets his chance, and he like takes you by the shoulder and says, "Thank you for getting my son through that fight. Thank you for keeping him alive. He's all I have."
And Alaric will return that and is like, no, thank you. He saved mine. He kept me alive. Just one of those.
Aw.
We kept each other alive, damn it. But, yeah, with Lord Yan,
you'll want to take him aside.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
First, the other nobles are all clamoring for you.
Clamoring for my attention. And I shall give it.
Yeah. Malister, the Greys, and Jean don't really have anything to add other than Malister's like, well, shit, now we gotta do a wedding. Cool. And the Greys are like, and we're looking forward to pushing north and taking back our lands. The Stalwarts, however, have some grave news.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Castle Dragonet has been besieged by the undead forces from Kemet. They have come through the swamp. Tampa has been attacked. Athlone itself, and even though Lord Gellin doesn't make moves to defend himself or take the threat seriously, Saltmarsh and Aquillonia themselves are threatened. Soon. War is coming to the southern border. But war is not just coming to the southern border, it's here. And we beg your leave to immediately go south and begin the defense of our lands. And whatever men you can spare to help us. Because these are not just mindless hordes that are attacking the rest of the kingdom. These are organized undead. Where what foul magic gives them their strategic cohesiveness, we do not yet know. But it is terrifying. And we must move south to defend our people.
Yeah, Alaric would definitely... is the front of the battle at, like, Aquillonia, or is it already to Saltmarsh as well?
No, the undead are at Castle Dagonet and Tampa, but they will quickly soon be attacking Aquillonia and Saltmarsh.
Okay.
Saltmarsh is not a very well defended city in general.
Yeah, 100%. If they need to head south immediately and start defending, that's fine. And I guess any of the other... We have literally all the nobles here. So... And Alaric will take this threat extremely seriously and will appeal to any of the other houses, since most of them have their... what armies they could even spare literally here. Will be like, alright, in the south, we don't have an immediate threat that we need to use this army for, other than this. Like, this is the prime threat that we could use this army for. Like, and Alaric's going to make his appeal, like, you know, up north is going to need it, but... And there's still a solid chunk of, like, the Reich army, right? As survivors?
Not particularly.
No.
No. They all tended to fought to the death, even after Luther fell.
Their faith was so strong.
Yeah, Holy Kaiser was still... Now, if you'd left and come back with Holy Kaiser's head, or if Holy Kaiser had been killed at the battle...
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are definitely prisoners.
Okay. Well, yeah, the main force of our army is still down here in Rostershire of the Kingdom, so he's going to make the appeal that it would be still of grave importance for anyone to send forces to help protect Aquillonia and try to cut it off and, you know, protect Saltmarsh as well. Would I be able to roll to see if I can persuade, like, how much of this army I can retain to use for this down south?
Yeah, definitely, because you're going to have, like, initially, as soon as you're, like, saying that, because this was already known to them, and they're like, all of the lords from south of the Morgiana River, the one that flows through Rostershire, are all like, yeah, big fucking deal. We need to go do that. But then, like, Lord Grey, the Greys, and, oh my god, maybe it is just the Greys.
The Greys and
everyone else is dead! Well, the Greys are the only dukes remaining, actually, but plenty of other minor lords and counts are all who are from north are like, that's great, but we want to go take our lands back.
Well, your
like,
lands are currently filled with the undead, so you can...
Our lands! Like, I mean, but there's that, as soon as you broach this, there's, like, an immediate, like, ah, shit, bringing this up. Like, yeah, well, obviously half the army needs to go defeat that, and the other half needs to go take our lands back. Like, you have an immediate dissension amongst the lords.
Oh, I'm sure they got their problems.
But
I'm asking first.
okay, and we can come back to that too.
I got 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want
with your
to.
22. The Greys are not adding their voice that they need to go north. They're kind of sitting there undecided.
Okay. And yeah, because essentially, I just have the Greys. Are the Swans all in? The Swans
Yeah.
and the Balian? And Balian?
Yeah, definitely.
What about Regenstaffen? They're kind of. I mean, they're south,
Well,
but.
Yeah, the Regenstaffens, they're fine to go wherever you want, maybe. I don't know, you need to talk to Jan.
Okay, so it's really. What about Orleans? Lady Joan.
She is one of the loudest voices to go north.
Okay, but real talk, if we're just talking about House Orleans and House Grey are the only houses that are like, no, I think we need to go north, I'm kind of fine with that. That's still like the majority of the army is willing to be used for the south. And I don't want to use all of the army. I'm actually okay with reallocating some of these troops to head back through these northern lands.
Mm-hmm. It's yeah, the only actual troops that are left from the north are troops from the Lion's Fort, and that's about it, because Orleans troops were part of Arthur's army that got assimilated into the Reich. And Orsrest, the Riverlands, those troops made it out by ship. So you got the troops from the Lioness, the Duchy of Lioness, and the Duchy of the Riverlands.
Okay.
And also, you also have... Yeah, never mind. Okay, the only army's troops that are not accounted for anymore. Even
Is
them,
Campania and Heartstown, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, Luther didn't kill them. He just assimilated them into the army, and so if anyone surrendered, it was definitely them. They definitely took heavy losses in the battle. But yeah, I'd say it's still like a good half to third.
Okay.
Third to half of
here's
the
what I'm
army now
thinking.
is northern troops.
I'm thinking those northern troops, which if we're shooting for about a third of the force, I'm thinking all of them can go north. And I'm thinking this still huge force, like a third of that army is still pretty big. I want the northern armies to start escorting refugees back north.
Okay. And cleansing the undead.
Exactly. Cleansing any lingering undead. But, like, clearing the path for the refugees and start getting people out of the south and back up north. Like, clearly they'll have defending to do, and, there's also a lot to do to get the north back on its feet, or the south back on its feet. So, I kind of want to get people back in those lands. So, yeah, the northern armies will start heading back north, cleaning up the undead and escorting refugees. And same with the Nordensgrad refugees and, like, the militia that we picked up and everything. Like, a lot of that's going to have to be dispersed northward. So, but I don't want... The big thing for me is I don't want any of these southern armies to advance past the river. The Falls River.
Okay.
They stay south for now. And maintain against any undead that could be crossing into the south. That's their prime objective. Because in the north, it's a holy clusterfuck. So Alaric wants to kind of get either more of a foothold or control up here before we send in more troops. But also the south needs to recover too. So that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Now, the thing is that Luther did not just completely leave everything north of the Morgiana River, like, with nothing. He left a small occupying force of maybe a couple thousand troops. So they're still all occupying all the castles and will need to be either convinced or removed from those castles.
I'm thinking on before Alaric goes back to Aquillonia, him and the Reichsmarshal will make a pit stop at one or two.
Okay.
Some of the main forts and be like, here's his head, here's the Reichsmarshal, go the fuck back home. Like, go north and start clearing.
Also, just to paint a picture of what these northern troops, the north of the south, are facing, is Luther did a campaign of terror.
Oh yeah.
Especially the guy he left in control of, and to take Orsrest, like, was a pure campaign of terror, and absolutely pillaged and salted Earth and devastated. It's anything north of the Joyous River is pretty fucked from Luther. And also, there is a line of crucified people following the main King's Road all the way down to Nordensgrad. So all of these crucified people were reanimated and are just like stuck to their crosses like as zombies.
Yeah, that'll be taken down on their way up.
But so these troops are like, what I'm saying is they're having their work cut out for them. Like, obviously we're not going to like resolve it all right here, but like, they're going north it's going to be a lot to take it all back. And because Luther was being so discriminate with his pillaging, there were quite a few corpses that were ready to reanimate and begin attacking any survivors who hadn't refugeed out of there.
Oh, sure.
So anyone who was left north of the Joyous River, if they weren't a member of the Reich, is having a bad time. Is having almost as bad a time as anyone in the Reich is having.
Okay.
Now, south of the Joyous River, it's a lot better off. Like, Hartstown and the Dread Fort were basically untouched.
Okay.
Along with the citizens of Campania and Orleans, the citizens were left pretty well fine, because all of those turncoated.
Okay,
just to give you an update on what's going on in the north.
Yeah, so I'm happy that still a sizable, like a third of that army is going back north, because they'll fucking need that, those numbers.
Mm-hmm. And immediately, Duke Andrew is like marshaling all the members of the opposite side of the Morgiana River and to gather up the army and move south. Like, he's like, you heard the king! Like, we got the green light, let's fucking go. We gotta defend Athlone right now.
Yeah.
Lord Gellin almost seems fucking senile. We fought off plenty of threats from the south. That just won't be any more difficult. The men of House Reed will be more. We don't need any northern help. And he's just kind of being ignored by everybody else.
Good. Yeah, take your help in Gil.
Gil.
Okay. Yeah.
Now Duke Jan finally gets a chance to talk to you.
And we'll step out, yeah.
He just kind of grimly looks on you. He has a very, scarred, a handsome but very scarred face, with very harsh, steely eyes. He does not appear intimidated by you whatsoever, like all other lords, and he matches your gaze pretty determinedly. And
the Lord gives him, it kind of matches that with, that soft, oh, buddy. Like,
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Like, you know, not just complete pity, but it's just like, oof, bud. You know, just kind of giving him that soft look, like he's not trying to intimidate or anything anyway.
Mhm.
As comforting as he can be, that's what Alaric's trying to harness.
He asks you in Aquilonian what happened.
And in Aquillonia, they'll respond and, you know, tell him that he fought well. He really came in clutch and helped, you know, defend everybody else. But he saw his opening with the Reich and went for it. And, you know, Alaric was trying to do everything he could to keep the Kaiser busy and keep the Kaiser preoccupied, but Wolfgang saw his chance and he went for it, and the Kaiser struck him down. And, you know, if Lord Welf is there, he's gonna be quiet and lean into Lord Jan, like, I'm gonna be real with you, it was ugly. I brought his body back for you, like, so you can honor him how you see fit, but you know, like one of those, like, only people, like, only you and somebody you with strong stomachs should open that box. Like, I don't want to beat around the bush, man. Like, he fought bravely, but he was beaten mercilessly.
The you like, as you like whisper that into his ear, he like, you kind of feel him like shudder.
Yeah. It's rough, but bro, I wouldn't want him to be like, and I brought his body so you can honor him, and he opens the box like, I want to lay my, oh my god! Like, that would be more scarring than getting this heads up in my mind.
Yeah, definitely.
And, you know, he will say, like, I'm so sorry for your loss, but we, you know, we could not have done this without him, and I am extremely blessed and lucky that he came with us and gave his life, put his life down for this cause. Like, it was worth it. He's a fucking hero, and he will not be forgotten.
You hear little Welf, the little wolf, openly sobbing, trying to keep it in, but he's just a little kid.
And Alaric being a dad, there's a part of him
uncle
that would want to, like, kneel down and try to also comfort and try to, you know, for Lord Jan, it was very like, dude, he was amazing, it's awesome, he's a fucking hero, but shit got real, you know, with Lord Welf, he wants to be more, like, stoic and, like, now it's on for you and, you know, your father to, like, carry on that bravery and, you know, kind of lean into that, and, like, he lives on with you and you blah blah blah, you just try to build that up to comfort this child.
And as you're like looking down like sadly at Welf, Lord Jan will say in Aquilonian,
and Alaric's
Wolfgang,
only Aquilonian right now. Just
Wolfgang Regenstoffen's prowess as a fighter was always unquestioned. Your praises to him are not unexpected. And praises, however, can be as useful as tears in the rain. I want you to reward his sacrifice and all that House Regenstoffen has done for you, to restore you to the Southern Throne. We arrived and rode hard to arrive at the climactic moment in the battle for Rossashire. And when volunteers were needed to go and face the Holy Kaiser, we sent our greatest warrior and my brother to his doom. I do not ask for your praises and for your condolences. I ask for you to make good on what my family has given you and to give us what we are deserved. The Archduchy of Aquillonia. I will not wait any longer, Alaric. Make your decision. Give us what we have rightfully earned and paid for with our blood.
And he wants, just to be clear, he wants the Archduchy, like all of everything north of Falls River.
Yep, which is ancestrally theirs. Emperor Gottfried was a Regenstaffen, so they are your brother-in-law. Like he's like your second cousin-in-law.
Right, because Alaric's sister married a Regenstaffen.
Yes.
And that Regenstaffen's dead, right? Like.
Yes. Yeah, that was Gottfried. The guy you cut in half.
But Cassandra was married. Didn't she marry somebody else? Or no. He was married to Gottfried, and we killed him,
yes,
and then she stayed in power.
Yes, because they had a son.
Yeah. Okay.
Who became the new Archduke, but Cassandra ruled in his stead because he was like a baby, literal baby. And Jan is like her nephew, we'll say, like, or was Gottfried's nephew. Like his father and Gottfried were brothers. So
Alaric, there's one thing that just didn't sit right with what Lord Jan said, and he's going to correct him. He's like, you're completely right, and all that you and your house have done has never been forgotten, and will be rewarded wholeheartedly. But let's not forget, you did not fight to put me on the throne of the South. You fought to put me on the throne of Terva. The whole Eastern human kingdoms and Norskia itself is under my banner. And I want people I trust to rule in the duchies throughout this burgeoning empire. And you and your people will have Aquillonia back. But Alaric will say that him and his house can have the Aquilonian duchy returned, but he's going to be very specific not to say archduchy, because his kind of game plan, the whole north is going to have to be figured out anyway, but Alaric is kind of looking at, the north is going to be kind of like the south and made up of duchies under one umbrella. And he doesn't want him to be like, yeah, you can have all of the north. It's like, you'll have Aquillonia in the Duchy of Aquillonia.
Yeah, especially if you plan on building a new capital city in between both on Falls River.
And Alaric is planning on making that announcement after he talks to Regenstaffen to formally tell everybody, and there's a fucking plan. We're building a new capital.
Okay, roll for persuasion.
Oof. 17.
17.
Still. So his demeanor, when he learned that Wolfgang had been killed, it's like he had been building himself up to this. Like, yes, great, yep, one great praise, as people are like, congratulate him, but he's like, I'm going to have to fucking get real with Alaric over this, like, and that's what's just been like plaguing his mind, like, like he's a very grim, dark kind of guy, like, so he's used to getting what he wants. He's used to being forceful and not pulling punches. And so he was ready to get really shitty over this. Really shitty. But you telling him that he will be made Duke of Aquillonia and the Reichlands again, and that just the general title of Archduke is not, and even King of the South is, those two titles are just going to become redundant, and there's just going to become, you know, one king over both. Like, that was enough to make him, like, he sat there after everybody's oohing and awing, like, oh yeah, Bill, that would be a good place for a city. Like, he's kind of sitting there, like, kind of fucking that gif of that lady with all the fucking math coming out of her head, like, calculating it, and just like, yeah, okay, very well.
Yeah, it's like, you may not be getting all of the north, but bro, you're still getting the biggest city in the north, like, and the land surrounding it. You know what I mean? Like, and I see, because that's the only
ancestral
thing.
home.
And that's the only thing, like, the big shakeup for Alaric here is he doesn't want there to be the northern kingdom and the southern kingdoms, you know, made up of the duchies. It's like, no. We're looking at, like, a united full country with duchies within it. Like, so it's like, yeah, you may want to be the, you know, king of the north under Alaric, but it's like, that's not gonna happen. But bro, you're still gonna get a lot, like, you get your homeland back, like, fine.
No, that there, because it's like, think of somehow the roles were reversed, right? And it was Alaric, like, taking back Nordensgrad, fighting whoever was taking control of it, and then having to ask, like, okay, I did it, now can I have Nordensgrad and the South back? Like, what more do you want from me? What more do you need for me to prove myself? Like, and then to be told, it's like, well, you aren't getting the South back because there technically won't be a South, but yes, you're getting Nordensgrad back. Like, well, fuck. Yeah, okay, I guess.
Yeah. It's like, okay. Well, and the announcement of this new capital city as for the united new, like, empire. I'm just going to keep calling it empire to distinguish from this point on.
It's definitely an empire at that point.
It's an empire, like...
Yeah, empire is the right word.
But a new capital for this new empire, for a new status quo. It's like, at this point, I feel like most of these nobles are just like, wherever I can fit, like, fit me in, coach.
Okay, yeah, Jan is all for it now. Like, he's had time to calculate it in his head, and he's like, yep, this tracks. And he's just genuinely, like, thankful. Like, okay, yeah.
Alaric's going to ask how well he can work with the Reichsmarshal, and if he has had to so far.
He, like, whips his head to look at the Reich Marshal, and the Reich Marshal has just been kind of, like, watching this. The Reich Marshal was, like, couldn't hide his initial disappointment that he wasn't going to be given Aquillonia. But the Reich Marshal is a very smart man who has survived so long by acknowledging the way the winds are turning and flapping in that direction. If that direction is the Aquilonian direction, and at the end of the day, this is an Aquilonian taking control of Aquillonia again. And so the Reich Marshal walks up and says, me and Archduke Jan have not had the chance to properly introduce ourselves, but I am a servant of Aquillonia, and I have been since the days, since Lord Jan was but a small child, running around the castles before the uprising. And so I shall continue being a staunch servant of Aquillonia, and once again of House Regenstoffen. And he bends the knee to Lord Jan.
Alaric, kind of quick to dispose of the formalities, is like, great! Good to
Cool!
hear. Because
Tired of all these fucking lords.
good, because we got work to do. And we'll kind of establish, like, alright, Reichsmarshal, you're going to be kept on a short leash. Like, I appreciate you're for the Aquilonian people, but I think you can appreciate where I'm coming from bringing you so closely into this new structure. So, you're going to be kept on a short fucking leash, but I want you to, like he just said, serve the Regenstoffens closely and help bring balance and order back to Aquillonia under Alaric's new empire. We have a vision for humanity, and that future is bright.
Both House Balian and House Prize request, okay, well, if you're sending up the Regenstoffens and the Reich Marshal, can you send back our sons so we can give them the hero's welcome they deserve?
Totally. But as you can imagine, they made themselves extremely valuable and important assets for me. And as I want them to come home and see their families again and revel in what they've done, I'll be calling on their service again soon.
Okay.
So yeah, I think they've earned their break. If they want to go home and like visit with their families, that's fine. But Alaric is not done with them. They're the shit, and I got big plans.
Okay.
Well, and you got Aller up there to help you out in the north too.
100%.
Aller probably won't go anywhere.
Yeah, Alaric will definitely want to start. The problem is moving houses around and armies around takes fucking time.
Yeah.
So that's going to take forever. But I was thinking of bringing the Reichsmarshal and Lord Jan, if he wants to, and bring them both directly to Aquillonia, like, now.
Yep. Before you do, Rickard wants to talk to you.
Hell yeah, he does. Brother!
Brother.
Just every time Rickard and Alaric meet, I just imagine they have to do that, like, dramatic... like,
Dylan!
they're
You son of a bitch!
They saw each other earlier that morning, but they're meeting up for dinner. Rickard, you son of a bitch!
You son of a bitch! Joe can't fucking believe you did it.
They never know if it's going to be the last time they see each other or whatever, so they always meet that way. I love it. Anyway, but yeah, totally. Do that, and they meet and talk for a minute.
Okay, so Rickard says, okay, I think we've been able to form a game plan of what's going on. The army's being split, 1/3 up, 2/3 down. Jan and Reich Marshal returning with you to Aquillonia. And I will stay here, I suppose, in Rostershire and help lead the south while Lord Jan is leading the north. I would also suggest that we go ahead and get this wedding over with for your friend Aller and the Lady Eleanor Swan, and send them north to Norskia to pacify that in your name, because we have not received news from Norskia, and even though they are a hardy people, sending back the son of Thor, along with an incredibly powerful southern lady as the new king and queen of Norskia, under your banner, will help us not have to worry about Norskia, at least. And then all 3 provinces of the Empire, he says with a smirk. Is that what we're calling it now? The Empire? Will be taken care of, and I will finally be able to get a night's sleep.
See, Rickard, that's why I keep you close. I like the way you think.
And
Alaric will also, through some of this, just make sure he gives a hearty and wholesome, like, show of appreciation to Rickard, as always, too. Like, what a fucking MVP.
And Rickard will say, I'm not just doing it for you. I'm doing it because we share a vision of a united Terva.
And we're one step closer to realizing it.
And I follow you because you're my friend, and because because if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be you. And if something ever happens to you, I'll be the one there to fucking put you down like the Custodes. I don't know. Something like that.
If you ever strayed, I'd put you down too.
He says, cracking his neck. He also gives you an update on Mordred. I forget where we were having him and Thalia elope off to. The Shag Shack.
I don't know that we really had a plan. I mean, like, we got a ranger who knows the woods, and we got a pirate who knows the ocean. There were boats there. They could have gone anywhere.
Anywhere. Maybe back to Norskia.
Maybe.
Alright, you know what? I'm going to roll a d4. 1, they stay in the south. 2, they go north. 3, they go to Norskia. And 4, they go west. To the plains or to where else? No, 3 is Norskia and 4 is to the west.
Okay.
Let's see where they go. Damn.
1, they stay in the south.
They stay in the
They're
south.
in the south somewhere.
Alright, where would we say... Okay, you know what? Let's do one more d4. And we'll do it clockwise. 1 north, and 4 being west. And let's see which direction they go from Rostershire. 3, so that'd be south.
South.
They went south. Oof. They went into the heat of it.
Oof.
Let's say they go...
They could have been going south towards the sunken city to try and, like, forge new identities or whatever, and, like, they know they're being tracked by Alaric.
Yeah.
Like, so they're going south to the sunken city to lose him. Little do they know they're running right into the hordes of the undead.
Oof.
Bump, bump, bump. I actually kind of like that.
I like that. Yeah, let's say they went through Aquillonia, and they would have went straight from.
I mean, Rickard can
Aquilone
tell
to
you
Tampa.
that with a grave face. Like, Alaric could be like, "Cool. Any news about Mordred?" Yeah. Him and Thalia. They went south. South? Like, what kind of south? Like southwest, south, towards the sunken city.
My God.
Yes.
They were last seen heading towards Tampa.
Oh my God, not Tampa! Anywhere but there.
My
My God, no sane man would go to Tampa.
Alaric doesn't even have glasses, but he's just like, my God. Not Tampa.
Rickard will like reassure you, put a hand on your shoulder, and be like, "I trained him well. I'm not afraid for either Rickard or for Mordred or Dahlia. They'll be able to handle themselves. If anything, they may end up being a great boon to us in the south."
Assuming Thalia's pregnancy belly doesn't start.
Roll for it.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Nope.
Oh,
I'll
God.
roll. Give me a d20. What's that?
Don't you do it.
You get a 20, she's pregnant.
I
Do it.
get a 20. She's pregnant.
You get a 20, she's pregnant.
Isn't she pregnant?
That's not a 20.
No.
No,
Isn't
she
it
is
the whole
not
reason they
pregnant, they're
eloped
just
was because they
married.
were pregnant? Oh, okay. They just decided to get married and run away.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Damn, that's true. Okay, cool. They could actually be a huge asset against the undead. That's kind of crazy. Look
Yeah,
at that.
I don't think Dahlia is actively trying to get pregnant with them on the run right now, so
Yeah, probably not.
yeah, you had to get a 20.
Hell yeah.
Or maybe a 1, actually. Anyway, is there anything else you want to do while you're in the south?
I think that kind of covers everything. He's talked to basically everyone.
How are you wanting to get Aller down here? Or do you... Well, you can't... It can only be 3 people, so I guess you would just have to go back up, grab Aller, bring him south, get him married, take him up to
Yeah.
Norcia.
But I'll be honest with you, I may want to wrap up a little here, like, now.
Now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have much else to add, and that's stuff we're pretty decided on happening. So you do that. You take Jan and Carl. Welf is taken back to Regensburg, along with the, Welf just stays in Rostershire, with the other lords.
well, at a
and
certain
remember,
point, that Northern Army will be heading out, and he can
Yeah,
at least
'cause-
head that way.
the army of Regenstaffen is going to join that army heading north.
Might as well.
Um,
They want
but
to go
Jan
to their new
and
home.
Regenstaffen, or Jan Regenstaffen and the Reich Marshal get right to work, fucking setting the Reich straight. Jan is ecstatic to be back in his ancestral home that he hasn't seen since he was a child, and they get right to fucking work. Then you take Aller back. Aller, do you have anything to say about getting married or anything you want to add? How do we make this wedding interesting and Viking-y, but quickly? Summed up.
I don't. Aller doesn't really have any plans for his wedding, and I don't know Viking wedding customs off the top of my head. So, Aller kind of just entered into this marriage because it was what needed to be done. Like, he thinks he's attracted to Lady Eleanor, and he's interested in who she is as a person, but he doesn't know her yet. So, like, I don't really have anything.
Okay,
planned.
then you remark when you're there that Odin is not present here in the south. His ravens are not watching, so we'll have to have another wedding in the north to satisfy you. So
Okay.
you have a wedding in Rostershire. It's House Balian does everything they can to quickly throw this wedding, and it's set for not just lords but also for the people. They're able to get out great pavilions and whatnot and have it not in the battlefield but somewhere out on the lawn near Rostershire. And it's a nice, beautiful little escape for the people of the South to quickly forget about all the crazy shit going on and watch this giant Viking marry this giant, scary blonde chick. Eleanor is impressed and interested to hear about your battle the whole time. And
So when Aller describes the battle, I assume he's gonna gloss over some of the like darker parts of it. If she really wants to know about like the darker shit that happened, he'll tell her, but he's not gonna like tell her as part of like them feasting. Like that's something he would tell her privately if she wanted to know.
Alaric, you as king officiate the wedding, and yada yada yada. Have a traditional southern courtly marriage wedding, and then you guys get back on the nightmare. Day of still,
With some ribbons on the back and a sign saying "Just Married."
and go back to Neverwinter, where there is still assembled several Viking chiefs and whatnot. And denizens of the Norskia. You learn that Norskia is faring pretty well under all things considered with the zombie incursion. They've just kind of realized that anything that dies just instantly comes back. And while there were a couple villages that got in some dire straits, Dalgut thinks it's pretty well under control. You inform him of the new arrangements of your plans on uniting the north and southern kingdoms and Norskia as one empire with a new capital, and Norskia shall be ruled by a new king and queen joining the two lands, and that is Aller, son of Thor, wielder of Mjolnir, talks Aller up for a good bit, and Eleanor. And Eleanor quickly wins over the citizens, the Vikings there, and members of Norskia with her brashness and martial prowess. Alaric, roll for persuasion.
I'd love to.
Okay, 21. Everybody is accepting of it, and you have another traditional Norse wedding with Norse customs. And after that, before the night ends, you also have a coronation where you crown them King and Queen of Neverwinter. Now the question is, in Norskia, do you give Aller the crown of Neverwinter as King of Norskia?
No.
No, okay.
Oh, yeah, I kind of.
Dalgut will say something. Dalgut will be like once it's made clear that like you're going to crown them, like Dalgut will pull you aside and be like, okay, you're going to give them the crown of Neverwinter, right? They're supposed to be the king of Norskia and Neverwinter. They're supposed to have the crown of Neverwinter.
Well,
I have an idea. Aller has an idea.
okay.
So Aller recovered some mithril from the throne. Would he have recovered enough mithril to forge like two small like mithril crowns for him and Eleanor?
Oh, definitely.
And then he could do that, and they could do those crowns. And then since Alaric is technically High King or whatever, he could keep the crown of Neverwinter that way.
Exactly. That's my understanding. Is
Aller,
that Alaric is
roll persuasion with advantage because Alaric is helping you.
Yeah, that was kind of my
I got
thinking. It's like
+5 to
Alaric's
persuasion.
still kind of high king of it
But
all.
you can see why Dalgut would like.
Oh yeah.
Want it back. Ooh, good thing I have the advantage. Yeah, 19. That's a much better than what I initially rolled.
Yeah, Alaric was originally thinking of like having a new one like made for Aller, so that actually lines up perfectly.
Okay, Aller, write down in your character sheet Mithril Crown.
Fuck yeah.
Luckily, we got some dwarves up here who can forge this for us.
Yeah, and Yeah. Right. Yeah. The mithril crown of Neverwinter. There you of Norskia.
And
Mithril crown of Norskia.
Alaric wants to commission a few dwarves to be sent down to Aquillonia.
To Aquillonia or to?
Oh, to Aquillonia. We got some mithril I gotta work with.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Some dwarves from Mirabar will happily get on one of the guild ships and go down to Reichhofen,
Hell
the
yeah.
Reichsport,
Hell
and up to Aquillonia.
brother.
Brothers, we hear you have some fancy armor you need to tinker with. Okay, the dwarves actually of Mirabar, while we're fucking speedrunning this shit, ask for Armageddon.
Why?
We hear you have this unholy item. I don't think you understand what led to its creation. Many countless dwarven mastercrafters put their blood, sweat, and tears into this thing unwillingly, and all paid the ultimate sacrifice. I don't know if you've ever read this dwarven rune here on it, but it says, we set out to create the strongest weapon ever created by dwarf kind, and may the world forgive us because we succeeded. This is an item crafted by the dwarves and tainted by evil. I ask you, give it back to the dwarven people so that we may undo the evil we have brought to the world and put the souls of all the dwarves who worked on this thing finally to rest.
To destroy it? Like they're wanting to destroy Armageddon?
If we cannot, he kind of looks at it. He kind of looks at it hungrily. I had set out to destroy it, but upon looking at it, never have I seen such fair dwarf craftsmanship before with my own eyes. Surely we could, if it was just in dwarven hands, that would be enough to set right what was wrong. Surely you would grant us this request.
Alaric wants to make an insight check on this dwarf.
Go
See
for
what
it.
his true motives are. 25.
Okay, he came in very just cordial and like, hey, Alaric, we know about this hammer. We know its history. This thing needs fucking destroyed. But then the moment he actually, like, you know, he knew you had it, like, show me, I know you have the hammer, show it, you pulled it out. He's like, I don't know if you've seen this root. Wow, this is the greatest weapon ever crafted by the dwarves. Holy shit. Maybe we shouldn't destroy it. Maybe we could use it. That makes you uneasy.
Alaric will say that he respects the ambition and curiosity, and I too am curious about the workings of this weapon. I need it for my own personal studies for the moment, but I will keep you updated on its status.
Okay, do you put it back in the bag of holding?
Yes.
You do, and he kind of gets a Bilbo from Fellowship, and like you just see a flash of anger in his eyes as you put it away, but he composes himself as it leaves his view. You're right, Alaric. And all you've done for us, which I can't remember off the top of my head what all you've done for us in Norskia, but
it's a lot.
I'm sure it was a lot. Just promise us that once you're done with this foul weapon, learning whatever you can from it, you destroy it and put the souls of those good dwarfs to rest, so that it can never be used for evil again.
I promise these souls will find peace and this weapon with it.
Roll for persuasion. Roll for deception. Because that is telling him what he wants to hear without telling him what he wants to hear.
Shockingly vague. I still have advantage on deceptions. Ooh! And let's not forget, Alaric gets crits on 18s and up.
Oh my god, yeah. Aye, Alaric. Aye. Take it and expect our people within the week.
Yay.
We look forward to working with Mithril again.
Perfect.
For the purpose of good.
Purpose of good. Hell yeah.
By my beard.
I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, and while he's up here, if he could also convince some wood elf delegates to send some of their best animal handlers, at least 4 of them, to Aquillonia.
Also, you may... Rickard also suggested asking Norskia for food.
Ooh, yes, that's a great idea. Anything that Norskians have in extra to be shipped down south to try to help with the humanitarian aid.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I said, Luther salted the earth, while the Aquilonians could technically re-sow their fields. Everything north of the Joyous River is at least fucked for this season, if not a couple more. But Norskia's fine. They got food. You know who also's got food? Cal Banner, but I guess we just don't know what's going on there.
Well, they didn't succumb to their own zombie invasion, and let's hope they learn from it.
It
Find
is
out
pretty
next
cool,
week.
Andy. The reverence Alfric has in that campaign. Like,
yeah.
just like when they have to tell the Duke that, like, yeah, there was like a plot to take over your duchy, like by Elfric. The Duke's like, and just how the Duke's reaction, like, who? Uh-oh.
Fuck yeah. He's the boogeyman.
Yeah.
All
Like,
right.
it's just pretty cool to see like all the campaigns intersect. But yeah, that's about it. So then you're going to go back to Aquillonia and dragon form obliterate some of these zombie hordes, right?
That's my game plan, yeah. Well, at
Aller,
this
you
point,
got any specific plans with Aller in Norskia?
as new
I figure
king,
Aller will spend a few nights with his new wife, and then afterwards he's thinking about trying to, like, if there's any like hordes building up near the capital, he'll go and lead the troops and deal with them personally. Other than that, like, I don't have a ton of plans. Maybe Aller does some research on try to figure out now what happened to Waterdeep now that he's kind of got a little bit more of a minute, since he just kind of showed up at Waterdeep, shit started going down, and he's like, okay, this is weird, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
and the council.
Still bothering him.
Yeah, and he's got to figure out why that storm just appeared even though the wind was coming from the wrong direction.
Alaric wants
So
to
many
ask one more thing. One more clarification. Is Asa at Aller and Eleanor's wedding?
Oh. Yeah, she's...
Aller would have
Ace's been-
invited her.
Well, yeah, but I assume that you didn't, like, take time to plan a big wedding.
Yeah,
It was
that's
just like,
true.
poof, we're back. Okay, boom, let's have a Norse wedding real quick while with whoever's in Neverwinter. But yeah, Asa, she saw you guys shove off and has just stayed in Neverwinter. So yeah, she was there. Is there anything you wanted to say to her?
Not specifically, but let's just say that in one of the few quiet moments and things, Alaric would want to just spend some of those moments with her.
Aww.
Nothing like straight up, you know, I don't know. I won't go into hard details or anything. They don't have to, but you know, they'll spend some time together. And
Okay.
I'm sure she'll make some comment of like, well, weren't you not going to do this? And he's like, yeah, well, things happen. And just kind of
I'm
vague.
tired of that frigid bitch in the south.
Maybe fate's my own to decide. You know, he's having, you know, he's not trying to give off any vibe that he's like, yeah, fuck the lady, but there's certain things, it's like, you know what do I want? I'm gonna act
After
on
killing
what I
the
want.
Kaiser, he's feeling pretty big in his britches.
He's feeling pretty big, and he will deliberately want to spend some time with her. And even though he's probably like, okay, I've been plugging this into our calendar just so we even have timetables, just for the fuck of it. So I have it plugged in that Alar and Eleanor got married at about noon, and then got married again about 3 in Dorskia. And it's like,
The
you know
double
what?
wedding.
But I imagine Alaric is probably back in the south, like, by mid to late evening. So, in all the festivities, Alaric will just try to find some little moments with her.
Okay, are they public moments? Like, are you, like, openly with her, or...
Maybe
Or are
once.
you dragging her back off to a fucking room?
You know, maybe like
Well, I
one,
mean, it's...
maybe like once of
Go
each. And it's not like he's like going like hardcore PDA or anything, but there will definitely he will be seen having like spending a little time talking and catching up with Asa, and even though they're not like all over each other, there may, you know, if somebody's watching them, they may catch a moment here and there of like, oh, did she just put his hand on it? Oh, did you
Okay.
know, is he
Well,
resting? You know, there's little
She
moments.
wants to know, okay, so am I not, like, keeping this silent anymore? Like, can it be known that you are the father?
Alaric will just, you know, not beat around the bush. It's like, look, I may have to. I may be expected to go to hell and kill the devil. I don't want you to be like, as much as I would love this, I don't want you waiting on me if I literally were to die next week. Like, I have the biggest target on my back. And the last thing I want to do is put the target on your back. And so Alaric, it's like, look,
basically,
I
if it
want
works
this.
out-
If it works out and I survive and we can have some peace, like, hell yeah. But I could literally die tomorrow. Like, shit is insane right now. And I don't know. And not in a way that it's just like, oh, well, I would get together, but it's like, bro, I could literally be killed by the devil tomorrow. Like, I don't want to undersell the odds I'm up against. So that's kind of where he's at. Like, I don't want you going around boasting and becoming a target, but he doesn't want her to think it's just to get out of commitments or something. You know what I mean?
Well, she whispers quietly in your ear, regardless, Alaric, I am your woman.
It blushes a little, like, oh.
And whenever you Southerners get off your high fucking horse and get off of this monogamy thing,
Come hit me up.
come hit me up. You son of a bitch.
Yeah, but yeah, I like that Alaric would want to find some time there. Everything else be damned.
Okay, cool.
Alright.
And as for other developments, I feel like at this point we can just catch each other up, and any other changes will just happen as they do.
Yeah, no, I think we've left it in a pretty good place right here
Yeah.
for a while, really.
Yeah.
Alaric is zipping around the north, blowing up zombies. Elfric's being Elfric.
KG as always. Everyone kind of knows their
Aller,
place right now. We're bracing
Aller,
for...
you can write King Aller, by the way,
Alaric.
too. He's king of Norskia. Rickard is taking care of the south. Regenstauffen's in the Reich Marshal.
And right now,
Aquillonia.
Alaric is zipping around everywhere, and he is... I imagine in any seats of power right now, Alaric is, people are kind of going to be used to seeing him coming and going. Like, he's a busy man with shit to do.
Yeah. I think that's a good place to end it.
Hell yeah. All right.
Good wrap-up session. I guess we had a lot to say for a wrap-up session.
Yeah. Oops.
Yep, I now have Aller's name changed on his sheet. He is King Aller Thorson of Norskia.
Fuck yeah.
And I guess I should change Alaric to Emperor Alaric.
Fuck yeah.
Emperor Caen.
Yeah, you're an emperor now.
You could do Eastern Empire, but you could also just do the Tervan Empire to fucking piss Andy off.
Or
Elfric off.
Elfric and you are now equal rank. Congratulations.
Oh my god. Show me on a map your empire. Show me your...
Okay, well, it's hidden behind the Reich Marshal's face.
Show me your square footage.
Don't worry.
Oh.
We can compare square footage.
Let's see, we got...
Hey, it's not always size. Sometimes it's about how you use it. You know?
Damn, actually, Alaric's got a pretty big fucking empire now. Yeah.
Hey, Andy, can you show me
Yeah,
where your
you're not
empire
wrong.
is?
His empire is in the mind.
Dude, literally, like, how crazy
It's all right.
is this? Like, if we're really comparing empires, like... Well, okay,
Well, Rotherham, yeah.
I guess you could technically say it's this.
Yeah, it is, technically.
But, yeah, you know what? Actually mapping it out and looking at that, the highlighting it, it's like, yeah, holy shit, Alaric's been busy. It's
But
been
I've had mine first.
Oh, did you? Who gave it to you, Andy?
I did.
Who gave that much to you? I
Don't
literally
act like
had
you did
so,
it willingly.
I literally had so much land, and I gave you a sliver. I gave you out of all. You asked for all of this for the record, everything north of this river, and I gave
Yeah.
you a sliver to shut you up. For the record.